Greetings, my name is Isaiah Scott, and I chose to do an ecological survey for my lab project. My goal for this assignment was to investigate biodiversity and the interactions between the organisms in my environment. Over the course of the survey, I identified 29 different organisms, which I have categorized into the five main groups for analysis. These groups are wild plants, agricultural plants, horticultural plants, pests, and pollinators. Let's start off by discussing the wild plants. I will first identify the plants that I took pictures of, and I will later give analysis on the group as a whole. On this first page, you can see photos of the following: yellow sweet clover, dove's foot cranesbill, European black elderberry, miniature lupine, and the common fiddleneck. On this next slide, I have identified the tomcat clover, silverbush lupine, red stem ceanothus, seep monkeyflower, and the fiesta flower. The category of wild plants is a relatively undisturbed natural area. The key takeaways from this group are the high levels of species richness. This diversity is crucial because it provides ecological stability. It ensures a constant food supply for herbivores and pollinators, and it makes it harder for any single pest species to dominate. These wild ecosystems serve as the baseline for our local environment. The next few slides go over the agricultural plants that I discovered over the course of my survey. On this side, you can see that I identified several fruits, such as the loquat, lemon, and orange. Here I have captured two more agricultural plants, miner's lettuce and society garlic. As you can see, agricultural plants produce food. In larger contexts, agricultural plants are categorized by monoculture, which is a single crop grown densely. This means that there's extremely low plant diversity, but an overwhelming abundance of one species. While this maximizes yield, it creates an environment highly susceptible to pests. The lack of variety and natural checks means that when a pest arrives, it finds a super feast, leading to rapid outbreaks and severe vulnerability. Our third and final group of plants is horticultural plants, which were my favorite to search for. On this slide, you can see flowering dogwood, the elegant zinnia, wild daffodil, and the greater periwinkle. And the final four horticultural plants are the Aztec lily, California flannelbush, California poppy, and the Burnet rose. Horticultural plants are often found in gardens and managed landscapes. This is a hybrid environment, often featuring high plant diversity, but with significant human intervention, including non-native ornamental species. This environment often has a moderate level of pest pressure and high pollinator activity, but its health is heavily reliant on constant management. Now we get to the non-plant section of the survey. On this slide, I have identified different types of pests, including the California ground squirrel, apple psyllid, and the cabbage root fly. Pests are creatures that have an antagonistic relationship with plants, as they benefit from consuming plants while the plants are hurt in the process. Here's how the different plant types are affected by these pests. When it comes to wild plants, they generally exhibit the lowest damage to diversity ratio, because the species richness means that pests cannot easily specialize, and the natural predators of the pests are abundant, keeping pest populations in check. This is an example of ecological balance. When it comes to agricultural plants, these are what suffer the highest and most severe pest damage. The large expanse of a single fruit food source, as mentioned earlier with monoculture, allows specialized pests to thrive and reproduce rapidly. Lastly, horticultural plants exhibit variable pest pressure, often requiring management. Non-native ornamentals may be vulnerable because they lack the natural defenses against the local pests of their new area. Finally, we arrive at the last group, the pollinators. Here I've identified the graybird grasshopper, the western honeybee, and the convergent lady beetle. These species specialize in plant reproduction and therefore they benefit the entire ecosystem. They are locked in a mutualistic relationship with the plants, as they exchange services for rewards, and they both benefit from the interaction. I found the highest diversity and activity of pollinators around the wild and horticultural plants, which offered a continuous succession of flowers. Their health is directly linked to the success of our wild flora and the yield of our most important crops. This concludes my ecological survey. Thanks for listening.